Vedic scriptures sing this character. Our spiritual master, the ocean of mercy, friend of the poor and Lord and Master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Shri Prabhupada ki Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Vanda Mui Savadhana Mate Vanda Mui Savadhana Mate Yahara Prasade Bhai He Bhavatori Yahara Prasade Bhai He Bhavatori Krishna Prapti Haya Hoite Krishna Prapti Haya Hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Tite Te Koriya Kya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Tite Te Koriya Kya Anaka Ihamane Asha Anakariha mane asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Utama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Utama Gati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Chakurande loje janme janme Prabhu say Chakurande loje janme janme Prabhu say Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita Prema Bhakti Jahate Avidya Vinasa Jate Prema Bhakti Jahate Avidya Vinasa Jate Vede Gaya Hara Charita Vede Gaya Hara Charita Suguru Karuna Sindhu Adhamad Narmando Suguru Karuna Sindhu Adhamad Narmando Lokanath Lokera Jivana Srila Prabhupada Lokera Jivana Ha Prabhupada Amare Padachaya Ha Prabhupada Amare Padachaya Ha Prabhupada Amare Padachaya Vedayachiko Sokchivana Vedayachiko Sokchivana Srila Prabhupada Bhatita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada Bhatita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Krishna Prestaya Hare Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschachade Shatarine Prabhupada Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's like Gaura. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chaitanya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dora! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Here comes the doctor's prescription. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshvaya Namaha Hari Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita Shri Rupa Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raguna Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raguna Hare Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah Hare Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Hare Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah Hare Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Hare Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Whoa! Anitai Gaur Hari Bal, Hari Bal, Hari Bal, Gaur Hari Bal. Nitai Gaur Hari Bal, Hari Bal, Hari Bal, Hari Bal. Nitai Gaur Hari Bal, Hari Bal, Hari Bal. Hari Bol. Acharya Stotra Shri Shimaresi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivraj Acharya Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ramnaveti Dham Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande Hari Bo Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All grace to the assembled devotee. All grace to the assembled devotee. All grace to the assembled devotee. All grace to Sri Sri Guru Gaurango.
Shri Shri Radhe Shyam Ki Jai. So this is from Prabhupada Nectar. It is called Service and Separation by Balavanta Das Adhikari. The greatest part of Prabhupada's Leela is how devotees are serving him in separation. In fact, most devotees grew up in Krishna consciousness, came into Krishna consciousness, and are maintained in separation, and now that's still going on. Prabhupada's Leela is spiritual and eternal. We all have our different perspectives from which we understand Prabhupada. As a representative of Krishna, he is almost unlimited. Just as in the Rasa dance, Krishna could dance with so many of the gopis simultaneously, so Prabhupada gave orders to all his disciples simultaneously. Each one is unique. Every one of us has a unique relationship with Prabhupada. With me, I felt closer to Prabhupada when I was preaching in the political campaign. I've been in the same room as Prabhupada and not felt anywhere near him. That's obvious even in material dealings sometimes. A man and wife, for example, can be married and can be total strangers because they don't like each other anymore. The same with Prabhupada. You could be in the same room, but if you weren't pleasing him, you might as well be a million miles away. So that's where you were really close, by rendering pleasing services, and that's how we can get even closer. Even if someone had never been personally in the room with Prabhupada or been on a walk with him, it didn't matter. He could also know Prabhupada through serving him. By service, disciples have direct spiritual realization. They have direct spiritual experience. When someone goes on Sankirtan and distributes books, he experiences a higher taste from the book distribution, and that's Prabhupada's presence. Otherwise, he couldn't go out. It is not just another activity like any other in the material world. No, he's experiencing something, and that experience goes beyond the bodily coverings into the spirit soul. The spirit soul tastes that relationship. By distributing Prabhupada's books or rendering any service personally, he is tasting his relationship with Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sunday would be the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, so we'll have a program here in the temple room. That's on Sunday. Appearance. So please join in with that. We'll do Pushpanjali in the morning. And today's class will be given by Trivikram Prabhu, and here are the devotees who have assisted their Guru in dressing the deities. Shri Shri Radhe Shyam were dressed by Mother Nanda, Chota Radhe Shyam, Leela Devi Dasi, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram, Guru Prasad Devi Dasi, Chota Krishna Balaram, Madhuri Gopi Devi Dasi, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Ashta Sakhi Devi Dasi, Chota Gaurnitai, Gandharvika Devi Dasi, Gurus and Lord Nrsimhadev by Krishna Kripa Mohi Das.
Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Shuddhanandana Brajananjana Yashodanandana Brajananjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jayoradhamara Kunjavihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Jayo Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivkacharya Story Rasas Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki ISKCON Founder-Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Daita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivedanta Ki All glories to the assembly devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 60, text 22 to 26. Iti Trilokesha Patestadatmana Iti Trailokesha Patistadatmana Priyasya Deva Sutta Purvam Apriyam Ashrutya Bhita Ridi Jata Vepatus Chintam Durantam Rudati Jagamaha Iti Trailokesha Patistadatmana Priyasya Deva Sutta Purvam Apriyam Ashrutya Bhita Ridi Jata Vepatus Chintam Durantam Rudati Jagamaha Iti Priyasya Deva Sutta Purvam Apriyam Sutta Vita Ridi Jata Vepatus Chintam Durantam Rudati Jagamaha Iti Trailokesha Patistadatmana Priyasya Deva Sutta Purvam Apriyam Ashrutya Bhita Ridi Chintam Durantam Rudati Jagamaha Marajis Iti Trailokesha Patistadatmana Priyasya Deva Sutta Purvam Apriyam Ashrutya Bhita Ridi Jata Vepatus Chintam Durantam Rudati Jagamaha Iti Trailokesha Patistadatmana Priyasya Deva Sutta Purvam Apriyam Ashrutya Bhita Chintam Durantam Rudati Jagamaha. Word for word. Iti, thus, Triloka, of the three worlds, Isha, of the lords, Pate, of the master, Tada, then, Atmana, of our own, Priyasya, beloved, Devi, Goddess Rukmini, Ashruta, never heard, Purvam, previously, Apriyam, unpleasantness. There is Apriyam. There is another word called Aprita also. They said that the word Africa came from the word Aprita. Asrutya, hearing. Bhita, frightened. Riddhi, in her heart. Jata, born. Duranta, terrible. Rudati, sobbing. Jagama, ha, she experienced. Translation. Goddess Rukmini had never before heard such unpleasantries from her beloved. the Lord of universal rulers, and she became frightened. A tremor arose in her heart, and in terrible anxiety she began to cry. Text 23. I guess we could do it together. Pada sujatane karuna shriya uvam likanta shubhiya janasita asinchati kunkumaru shitau shanta tastavatu karudava. Translation. With her tender foot, effulgent with the reddish glow of her nails, she scratched the ground, and tears darkened by her eye makeup sprinkled her kunkuma reddened breast. There she stood, face downward, her voice choked up by extreme sorrow. 24. Tasya suduka bayasoka vinasa buddhir astach chotad pata dehascha viklavadiya sahasana rambe vavayu vito pavite. Translation. Rukmini's mind was overwhelmed with unhappiness, fear, and grief. Her bangles slipped from her hand, and her fan fell to the ground. In her bewilderment, she suddenly fainted. Her hair scattering all about as her body fell to the ground, like a plantain tree blown over by the wind. Purport. Shocked by Lord Krishna's words, Rukmini could not understand that the Lord was only teasing, and thus she displayed these ecstatic symptoms of grief, which Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti characterizes as sattvika ecstasies, ranging from becoming stunned to dissolution. Text 25. Tatrishva Bhagavan Priyaya Prema Bandhanam Asya Padhim Ajanatya Karunaso Kampata. Translation. Seeing that his beloved was so bound to him in love that she could not understand the full meaning of his teasing, merciful Lord Krishna felt compassion for her. 26. Paryankadavaru yasya tam utapya chaturbhuja keshan samuyatat vaktram pramarjat padmapanina. Translation. The Lord quickly got down from the bed, manifesting forearms. He picked her up, gathered her hair, and caressed her face with his lotus hand. Purport. The Lord manifested four hands, so he could do all of these things simultaneously. Om Jnana Tirmanasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Sakshulintam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimati Sasrupadas Nami Sacharupa Bidam Vande Venitam Shadabhushanam Bhakti Grantana Naipanya Bhakti Vedanta Sikshitam. Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracham Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshachana Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Radha Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakti. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Paramayam Dadati Swaparantikam. Alas, alas, that God is born from the quest for the elixir of immortality, that most exquisite, radiant, and unmatchable beauty, who captivated both the gods and the demons, that giver of good fortune to all, is now contemplating her own seemingly misfortune. Will she be rejected by that self-satisfied Lord, or will she be left in isolation by him? These and innumerable questions pondered her bewildered mind. With tear-deluged eyes, choked voice, she fell to the ground like a plantain tree blown by the wind. If we were placed in a lesser test, then our best solace is to remember that glorious prayer by the munificent Lord Chaitanya. O Lord, whether you handle me roughly by your embrace or make me broken-hearted by not being present before me, I am still your unconditional servant, birth after birth. Queen Rukmini's mood was the same. I can probably go through that in Bengali. Ashlishyava pararatam pinastu mam adarshanam marma hatam karotuva yatatatava vidad hato lampato mat prana natastusa eva napara. So you know, I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. So that little poem, I guess I'm catching from my master. He's the master poet. So Rukmini Devi is no other than Lakshmi Devi. And as we know, if you remember the story of the churning of the milk ocean, she arose when they were churning for the nectar of immortality. Elixir. Elixir is like another word for nectar or the mystic potent. And so she came from that. She was both the demons and the demigods, they were allured by her beauty. See? She gives good fortune to all, and now she is contemplating her fortune. With that self-satisfied Lord, Krishna, would he reject her or accept her or what? She was so bewildered. So in this second purport, is it? Yes, the purport to 24. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Rukmini fell in the Sattvika Bhava mood. And the Sattvika Bhava mood is that she has pure emotion for the Lord. It's stated that this mood has 8 transformations. The first one is stamba, or stunned. So she was stunned. The second is sweda, perspiration. She was perspiring. Romancha, horripilation, or shock. She was shocked to hear what Krishna was saying. Swarabheda, faltering of voice. Her voice was choking. Vepatu, trembling. She was trembling. Vaivarnya, transformation of bodily color. Her color changed. Ashru, shedding of tears. And then Palaya, fainting. She fainted and fell to the ground. So she exhibited all these 8 Sattvika transformations. And within the Jaiva Dharma, chapter 27, this is explained, and it even gives more explicit explanation how this takes place. He says within the body, the prana air, when it comes in contact with the earthly element, then inertness or stillness takes place. Says when it comes with the watery element, then tears comes about, ashwa. When it comes into the fiery element, there's color change, vivarnya, and also there's perspiration, sweda. States when you come to the airy element, there's horripilation or stunning. There's trembling, vipatu, and choking of the voice, swara bheda. And when you come to the ethereal or the ether element, there's fainting, palaya. See? So this is the deep explanation of how this takes place. And so Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he's rightly stated that this is the Sattvika Bhava, this is the transformation that takes place in Rukmini's character. So we find here, let me get to a more simpler topic. We find here that Rukmini was completely stunned. And then she fainted. And then the Lord manifested his four arms, the Narayana form. The Narayana form, it's stated that in Vraja, the Lord is in his original Krishna form with Srimati Radharani and the gopis, and that's a different bhava, a different mood. But when he is in Dwarka, he manifests his Narayana form, or he manifests his Narayana mood, and he relates to Rukmini and the queen in this Narayana mood or bhava. You see? So it's stated, Srila Prabhupada states in the Krishna book that this is befitting for him to take this four-handed form because he's relating to Rukmini as Lakshmi Narayan. And so it is befitting. Also, Rukmini was really dumbfounded by his words. Why is he speaking like this? See, this is not befitting her husband, the one he knew. But the previous verse, and this is a little understated, the previous verse, text 21, Sukadeva Goswami said, Rukmini had taught herself especially beloved by the Lord because he never left her company. By saying these things to her, he vanquished her pride, and then he stopped speaking. So maybe that was also one reason that he wanted, and so in a way he was trying to clip her pride a little bit. See? And so he spoke like this. But also we'll hear later on that he was jesting also, to see her a little angry, to get her a little bit agitated. He wants to see her face, her agitated face and so forth. So he decided to do this. But coming to reality now, Srila Prabhupada said that Krishna was asking for a divorce. You know, he was asking for a divorce, and they were going to through the law of Florida. That means Rukmini would have got half of the universe, right? Anyhow, this is strange to Rukmini because according to the Vedas or the Vedic laws, there is no divorce. Can anyone say why? Anybody say why there's no divorce? Janamashmi, you have any clue? Then in the Vedic system.
There's the family culture is destroyed by that, and then this is described in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I can't think of the verses.
Adharma bhava Krishna pradushanti.
Yeah, so then the women become degraded, and then with the degradation of womanhood come unwanted progeny. That's no argument that's given there. But in general, that it sets the foundation for Sanatana Dharma, a proper family situation where the women are protected and the children are protected, and then they can take to Krishna consciousness.
Very, very good attempt. Yeah, of course. And in the Manusmriti, it's also stated, not by sale nor divorce is a woman released from her husband. See? So in the Vedic laws, it was quite stringent. But also it stated that she has to be protected at all stages of her life, from childhood by her father, adulthood by her husband, and old age by her son or grown-up son, or by the society. Because in this way, then she's always protected. And because she brings forth the progeny of the world. And within the Varnashram culture also, if you have intermixture of caste and so forth, then you get what you call a watered down society. You get Varna Sankara, right? Yeah, Varna Sanskara, unwanted progeny. Or when there is unwanted progeny, all type of religious activities are neglected and so. So this was within the Vedic system, the culture. And so, Srila Prabhupada also within the Krishna book says that what Krishna was saying, he was simply joking, because there is no base for this divorce. And so this topic is the least discussed within our society, yet the most impacted onto us. In other words, our divorce rate is maybe even higher than the rate within this country. And within this country, it's about the highest in the world. But yet, within our society, it's even higher than that. So I'd like to discuss it maybe in a little more depth. And maybe, like to get the input of all you knowledgeable devotees. Why this is so. See? Can anyone say maybe why this is so prevalent in our society? This, yes, Janamashmi. I mean, it's a touchy subject, but since we are on it already, we might well discuss it really, and the Mataji has an equal input also. Yes, Janamashmi.
Well, one issue is that I having been married for 25 years, there's an absence of the extended family, which gives tremendous support. So that's the way it's supposed to go in Vedic culture, but we're kind of forced by circumstances into the nuclear family situation, because most of us were converts. So everything falls on you know, with the extended family, there's extended responsibility for finances and for raising the children, and also for educating them. You know, it's spread over more people, so there's a lot more stress factors that come into play with, at least in this first generation, or even the second generation of devotees. You know, the extended family hasn't been fully established yet. And you know, the output that Prabhupada had in mind for the traditional Gurukul system was the self-sufficient farm communities, and that hasn't manifested yet, and that gives so much stability to family life if the simple living were actually enacted. So sometimes both husband and wife, they have to work, and there's all this stress that comes from that, and it makes it very difficult to have a peaceful relationship.
Very good, very good. Yeah, especially with the input of the extended family, the mother, the grandmother, father, grandfather, and so forth. They have a great, for example, if there's discontent in the home or there's some petty quarrel, it's not right away you jump into the law system or the court. You know? What happens? Sometimes the girl goes back to her mom and she cools down a little. And the boy is supported by his family too, and they stay and discuss it over and see where they flaw. Because that is always, they say that once the tongue is in the mouth, the teeth will clip it sometimes. So teeth and tongue comes, you know, so disagreement comes about. But it's, you know, the system now within this culture, our culture, which is not so much Vedic oriented, then it has another concept. Of course, within the biblical teaching is stated that if one party is found in fornication is, yeah, then you give a written divorce, you know, like that. But of course, that's an extreme case. But now we find that in society we rushed into that. You know, we rushed into that without even realizing the implications. And then the repercussions is so detrimental that it affects not only the party, but also when there's children. So in the Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada also stated that Rukmini had big children already. She had Pradyumna. She probably had 10 kids, you see? And so that's not possible. When a woman has children, there's no way of divorcing in the Vedic system, you see? And so they're helped by the extended family. But like you rightly say in ISKCON really, because that is greatly absent, then there's not so much help. And so the outer society input is so powerful and greater that it affects, you know, our culture so much tremendously. And so we find that there's separation for the most trivial things, you see? And so that should not be, you see? And also, of course, I mean, we cannot understate this, and I'm not trying to pull a nerve on the woman's side, but also the concept of womanhood, as Srila Prabhupada wrote in the Bhagavad Gita, is somewhat misguided to some extent. You know, there's inflated role that's been portrayed within the modern society, and that to some extent has an impact. But we within the Vedic society, we know, we understand, you know, I mean, really all of us are servant of the Supreme. And of course, the husband, the wife has to some extent a subservient role to the husband. You see, and I would like to hear what the Matajis have to say on that. especially maybe, what's her name again? Mati, yeah. Coming from the Vedic conception, you know. These things, I mean, we should speak about them sometimes so that our new generation hear about it. It's a very fundamental topic within our society. And I guess we could eliminate so much of the disruptions in the families today, you know. So, Madhumati, you want to say something? Well, but I'd like to hear her input. Can someone give her the mic? You're one of the foremost chaste lady within our society, and have a good. Okay, let me continue maybe a little bit. What about the Matajis at the back? Let me hear something from one of the Matajis.
She needs the permission of her husband to speak.
That's why he's not here, so I just have to keep my mouth shut.
Oh, no. Yeah. So one of the Matajis at the back there, would they like to give some input? A little bit. Okay, that Mataji here. Somebody could give her Mata Mohan? Yeah, please.
I appreciate very much what Janmastami Prabhu mentioned, unique to our society, the lack of an extended family and all the support that comes from that. I recall when I was particularly looking through Prabhupada's books on the topic of women in Krishna consciousness, I wanted to conclude what is the meaning of chastity. And through those readings, I came up with a formula that chastity equals tolerance plus shyness. Because he cited examples of tolerance in the case of his sister Pishima, and with her husband, even he was somewhat of a debauchee. She would never deride him in public, or she was tolerant and patient, and he came around in the end to a higher standard of, life. And shyness, Prabhupada said that this shyness is a safety valve. And he cited the example of that cleaning woman who, when she was doing her cleaning duties, I can't recall the exact detail, but there were some men in the area where she was going to be cleaning, and she just, she did not tell them, get out of the way here, I'm trying to do my job. She was shy. In her shyness, they saw and respected her need to clean that area, so they moved aside, without any words spoken even. But also this shyness has broken down so much due to the media, and also it's a very delicate topic.
Sensitive.
Very sensitive, because our children are, our first generation, they all grew up together, and then as they're becoming adults, and there's just a lot of intermingling. So this has not been a prominent characteristic, in the dealings between the new generations, or even in the original,
Yeah.
because of, Kali Yuga,
Thank you.
breaking down of
Thank
shyness.
you so much. The other Mataji wants to say something? Or we have Madhumati, and then Sri Devi wants to say something? Oh, okay.
One thing is that I think that there's a lot of misconceptions about different words. And each one of us are individuals, so we hear the words submissive, chastity, shyness. We all have different conceptions in our mind what that means. And I think it's important to understand what those words mean and how they apply in different situations differently. I think it's important that we understand, one way to understand what these words mean is to see how different ladies acted from our Shastra, how they acted. Because some women are fiery, some women are more quiet kind of person. And if somebody is fiery, it doesn't mean that they're not shy. I mean, you look at Mother Draupadi, she is the most fiery person. And if you read the Mahabharata, you see how she acted in different times, in different ways, how the kind of responsibilities she took, how she managed different things. It describes that she managed Yudhishthira Maharaj's treasury, and she was responsible for so many people, and they didn't even know. They didn't know of all the servants. She knew all the names of each and every servant. She was taking charge. You see, Draupadi many times she would become fiery about, sometimes how Yudhishthira Maharaj acted, and yet she was a very chaste lady. So sometimes I find there are certain misconceptions about what it means to be a shy woman or a chaste woman. Even Mother Sita, who is not, Draupadi was a very fiery woman, but Mother Sita wasn't in that sense. But you also see her in her relationship with Lord Ram. Lord Ram was everything, and you see that how when Lord Ram wanted to go to the forest and he didn't want to take her. You read in the Ramayana, what she tells Lord Ram. What, are you a woman just dressed up like a man or something? You hear those personalities. So I guess
very good.
I think it's important we understand what those
very,
mean.
very good, and very good you quote those two. Sita, Draupadi. Draupadi was very fiery. She was also born from fire. But, she's considered a Kshatriya woman, so she did. And then, of course, Sita. And I would like to cite a few others, too. There is Kunti, there is Satyavati, and there is Amba. We'd like to touch upon that. Oh, did Mataji? Did you want to say something, Mataji?
Yeah, the famous exchange where they were in a darshan and somebody asked Prabhupada, what does humility mean? Whenever we think of humility, we think shy, meek, quiet, like that. And Prabhupada shocked everybody. He said, to be humble means to act boldly for Krishna.
Very good. Yeah.
And then you think, wow, how does that, But the way I kind of related it is that, for example, on Sankirtan, we might not want to go on Sankirtan, we might be in the modes or on the mental platform that day, but you have to push yourself to act boldly for Krishna. If you're doing any type of service, you can apply that to any seva, that you might not feel like doing it or be in the mood, but if you have to push yourself and act boldly for Krishna.
Very good, very good.
That's real humility, according to Prabhupada.
And also, chastity is learned. The young girls, boys, they learn from their parents, from the Vedic scriptures. Especially the young girl, she learned how to give herself freely to young boys and so forth. This was very fundamental in the Vedic society. And I would cite some cases. There were the case of Kunti. When Kunti got the boon from Durvasa Muni to get any, to call upon any demigod, she curiously but innocently, she was maybe just 11, she just touching puberty, and she called upon Surya. And when Surya came, she was very frightened, But Surya says, if I leave without something happening, I would be a laughing stock to the demigods. So I have to give you a son. But she says, I've never married. I'm a young girl. I cannot do that, you see. And then Surya promised, well, the only way, she says, the only way is that possible is for you to reinstate my virginity if anything were to take place. And then that happened, because had Kunti been not a virgin, then she would not be able to marry to Pandu. Then there was the other case of Satyavati. When Satyavati met Parashara Muni in the lake, he said, I'm captivated by your beauty and so forth. I want to give you a child. She said, but that's not possible, because I'm a virgin girl. How that's possible? And then he says, don't worry about that. You would still remain a virgin. So Vyasadeva was born, and then, as we know, he grew up and she remained a virgin. And then that's how she married Bhishma, you see. And there's the other case, the real case in Vedic literature that comes out a lot, and that's with Amba. When Amba was taken by Bhishma, she told Bhishma that I gave my heart to Salva, and so I cannot give my heart to someone else, And so she said, I want to go back to Samba, and then not Samba, sorry, Shalva. And so Bhishma says, okay, you could do that, you could go. But when she went back to Shalva, Shalva says, which man would take a woman that been touched by another man, you see? And so he refused her. And so she went to different sages and Parshuram, and then Parshuram forced Bhishma. He says, you have to marry her, because it's you that has kidnapped her. You have to marry her. And then Bhishma says also, I've written it somewhere. Oh, Bhishma says here, no wise man will take into his house a woman who has given her heart to another, any more than he would admit a poisonous snake in his home. You see? So just imagine, that was what Bhishma says. Bhishma says, I would not take her, I would fight with you rather. See? So this concept is very, very important to our society, but throughout the world too. But because this is absent, especially within the Western society, it's underrated and understated, then there's no care for that concept also. But that creates a great amount of chastity also. And so we find in the Arabic society and especially the Hindu society, maybe in the Vedic society also, the Buddhist society, this is important, fundamental, but even especially within the Arabic society, is very fundamental. And so it's, as parents, we need to speak to our children also to understand this concept. You see? So, I mean, it's difficult to discuss, but it's important. Both for the boy and the girl. I mean, you discuss with your boy kids, you're not to go and fool along with girls and like that, you know, I mean. It's important, you get married and so forth. And the girl also, that's important. And that's the foundation for chastity. See, starts like that. So so I would stop here if there's any question now or comment. Okay, yes, Mataji.
Well,
Sri Devi.
I was gonna, one observation that I've made is that, there is the aspect of Western culture is sort of more degraded than, maybe like traditional Hindu culture. So there's that one aspect. And there's more sense gratification and there's less honoring of traditions and chastity. So that's one thing. But another thing that strikes me is that there seems to be, within spiritual societies, a double narrative of, on one hand, we talk about Vedic culture, which is like family-based, and women being protected, and children, the importance of, children and family. But on the other hand, there's this other narrative that says, I'm not attached, wife, home, family, it's all like meaningless to me. If I'm really spiritually advanced, I don't go for that. So to me, there's this like double narrative that perhaps causes some, issues within people's minds. Well, if I'm really advanced, then I'm not really interested in family life. So, and then the other narrative is, Vedic culture is very family-oriented. So
Very good
it's a kind of like cognitive dissonance within our movement.
Very, very good point. And I like to throw some light into that. Within the Vedic system, you have the 4 varnas and the ashram. In the ashram, usually one goes through brahmacharya, then grihastha, then vanapashta, and then he becomes renounced of family life. But once he's engaged in family life, then he has to take full responsibility and go through the phase until he become over maybe 50, jumping on 60 and so on, then gradually move to the renunciation, if he chooses to. There's some outstanding devotee students like Bhaktisiddhanta who is like specially endowed that he does not care about family life and he just become Naistik Brahmachari. You see, that's a different thing. Within our society, this happened to some degree also because Srila Prabhupada, the need was there for preachers and for renunciant. And so Srila Prabhupada tried to recruit as much devotees, but knowing fully well that some may fall and so many things may happen also. Srila Prabhupada knew about those things. And so, but he still encouraged renunciation for the sake of preaching, you see. And so we got all these different mishaps and so forth, really. But in the ideal Vedic society, and there's still talk about implementing Varnashram to some degree, or Daivi Varnashram or whatever. But this is fundamental. And the point you made about some men showing this disinclination to follow strictly the family vows and become detached and so forth. I mean, that's there too. But they might, there are some devotees that are exceptional and they may be able to go through that phase. But generally, most of them have to go through the life gradually and follow the principles of Grihastha. Yeah, Madam Mohan Prabhu.
One thing I've always thought that would be nice to do is when our young people get married, And that's in regards to what Janmashtami Prabhu was saying, which is, I think, an extremely important point. But if we could, when our young people get married, at the time of marriage, that we have an older couple that both parties feel good, and during the marriage, that they take the responsibility of taking care of the young couple, because I think it's a very common thing when a young couple is going through difficulties, they don't know where to turn and they feel embarrassed or whatever. But if it's established or something like that, that they choose somebody that they feel comfortable at the marriage time, they take the responsibility.
Definitely. I think that needs to be discussed more. And you know, all the devotees always try to counsel the young ones, you know, and if they're getting some kind of a problem, talk to them. They could have a little time out, a little cooling down, but not separation, just quick separation and jump with somebody else, you know. Yeah. Madam Mohan Prabhu?
When I thought about it, I came up with, there's many reasons, and just 5 popped into my mind. That previously there was the mode of goodness was prevalent. When you talk about Vedic culture, it was established in the mode of duty and goodness, and now it's in the mode of passion. So that does a lot. And previously there was also compatibility charts, like astrologically, where people were just like, one of the verses I did yesterday was that it's between similar people.
Compatible. Yeah.
Compatible. And then, of course, that has to also do with their interest in spiritual life. So an interest in spiritual life, if they're not progressing at the same rate, then there's some, it's going to cause some difficulties there. And then also there's, we don't have a way to get to know each other so much. You know, it previously was arranged, but it was arranged with a lot of thought. Nowadays, they put people together with just, a lot of times the brahmachari desire to get married wasn't always for the whole package. He had one thing in mind. And that's not a stable element for a marriage. And it was just the way it was. Well, okay, if you can't be a brahmachari, get married. Who's there to marry? Oh, there's someone. You know, I mean, it wasn't really, it was a very young and immature way to do a lot of things like that. That was wrong. Yes, and there was no matching, no astrology. There's so many just immaturity, not understanding what they were going to need to go through.
All right, so very good, and sorry we didn't have your input, Mataji, but some other time, you know. I hope we are not too biased to the ladies, all right? Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam ki